Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will be showing you how you can use Kubernetes and Docker with NextJS along with MongoDB. So first I'll start my local setup because I want to show you guys how the output would look like. I'm using NextJS 16, which is the latest at the time of me recording this video. So let's just wait for the server to boot up. And also for MongoDB, what I have done is that I have not installed the MongoDB desktop app. What I have done, I just went to mongodb.com and they provide a free instance as well to you to run MongoDB on your to use MongoDB. So that's what I'm using, but that's not what we will be using with Kubernetes, although I tend to differ. I'll talk more about that later on in this video. So for now, just remember, on my local setup, when I'll run locally, I'm referencing the MongoDB URL, which is hosted on mongodb.com. Again, I'm using free instance. I have not paid anything for that, not register credit card or debit card as well. Also, other important thing is, when I'm using MongoDB with Kubernetes, I'm not using persistent volume claim. I will be using that in the next video, in the next part. So make a note of that, because I don't want to complicate things a lot, because even I am learning Kubernetes. So this would be a good stepping stone. If you have not watched my previous videos of Kubernetes with NextJS, do watch it. So I'll just copy this URL. I'm on localhost :3000. I'll just run this application on localhost :3000. So here you can see it is loading users. I already have some users. Hopefully it is able to load it for me. Let's just wait. Given that this is a free instance, it does take a bit of time. So yeah, let's just wait for a few seconds. I don't know why it is taking so much time. I think it could be related to the instance being getting unexpected end of JSON. Okay, let me try to refresh. It could be related to my IP address being changed, because you need to whitelist your IP address when you are trying to connect with that MongoDB instance. Or the second reason could be that MongoDB went to sleep for me, so it is taking a bit of time. So let me quickly check that. Again, this is not related to Kubernetes or Docker, so let me quickly fix that and come back. I'm not sure why this is taking so much time, so let me quickly check that, and then I'll come back and show you guys. Okay guys, so I have fixed the problem. Again, the problem was related to the IP address, so you need to whitelist your IP address whenever you are using mongodb.com. So that's what I have done. So here you can see I have these two users. Now keep a note of these two users, because at the end of the video I want to show you something else as well. Now I will add one more user just to show it to you. So something like nobody, and here I'll just add nobody. Okay, @nobody.com. okay, and I'll just click on create user. So here you can see it has created the user. If I refresh, here you can see I'm able to see the user as well. Now I'll quickly go through the code, then I'll look into Docker and Kubernetes part. So first here, as you can see, I have just created one NextJS application. Okay, so the first thing is, I just go to your package.json and make sure you add this mongoose dependency as well. So that's what I have added over here. Then you just need to go to app, go to API, and here I have created few API routes. So first I have created this users route. Okay, let me quickly check. All right, I don't think we require this route as well. I think this is still empty. Okay, I'm not really using this route. I'll just delete this. Okay, because I want to keep things simple. I don't want unnecessary code. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, so I'm still able to read the whole users. Okay, so here you can see that I have created this route handler in NextJS. So it's API users route.ts. so you have to name the folder as API, and here you can see I have just included this connectdb from app libdb, and here I have included the user model as well. So for every request we are connecting it to our database. Maybe you can create a singleton as well if you want, and then here I'm just finding all the users and returning all the users back. Okay, and similarly for the post request as well, I'm connecting our database, I'm getting the request which user has sent, creating a user based on it, and then I'm just returning the user back. All right, now if I just show you, I have created this lib folder as well, which has this db.ts. So here you can see I have created this environment variable. So I'm not showing you this environment variable. You just need to create a .env file. Inside this you need to write this particular environment variable of MongoDB URI, which you get from mongodb.com. Okay, so yeah, just add this particular URI. So this is for this is the code for connecting to our MongoDB, okay, using Mongoose. Then here I have created this models folder as well. So here is our user schema. It has a name, it has an email, and it also has a timestamp. That's it. That's how simple I have created. Okay, so this is done as well. So I'll just close this. I'll close this as well. I'll close this as well. Then inside page.tsx, all I have done is that I have imported suspense as well as this create user form. And here you can see that here is our create user form, which I'll come back later on, and here is our suspense, because fetching user list will take a little bit of time, and in that meantime I don't want the create user form to take time as well. That's why it is outside the suspense boundary. And here you can see, here we have user list, and if you see the user list, we just call get user. So inside get users we just pass the fetch API. Then inside environment variable I have also defined this base URL. So I have MongoDB URI as well as base URL. For base URL, for now you can just write http://localhost:3000. all right. So that's what this is there. So here we are fetching the data from our MongoDB database, and once we have it, we just map it and display it inside our component. That's it. Okay, now coming back to the components, here we have this create user form. Now typically you should have like I should have used some library like use HWR, because I'm using a client component. I'm not sure if using server actions would be right use case for this, because I have an API handler. You can use a server action as well. So if you want, you can use server action as well, or maybe you can use 10 stack query, or maybe use HWR as well. But I have kept things simple. I don't want to complicate this. That's why. So I have just imported route, and this is one state for name and one state for email. And once the form is submitted, we just call our API, okay, and then we just make this as empty, and then we just do router.refresh. okay, and here you can see this is our form which is getting on submit. We just call the handle submit method, which we have over here. So this is the input for name, this is the input for email, and this is our button for creating a user. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Okay, so once this is done, like I said, you can just run your application and you should see the output. Now coming to Docker, so here I have first created a Docker ignore file, because I don't want to include the k8s folder. I will be creating the k8s folder later on, and we don't want node modules as well. And then inside the Docker file, I have just created this from node 22 alpine. Okay, here is our working directory. Then we are copying all these files inside our working directory. Then we are running an npm install. Okay, and then we are copying rest of the files to our working directory, and then we are doing npm run build. Then again we are including from node 22 alpine, creating a working directory. This is optional, again not necessary. And then we are just copying all the files which are created inside the build folder or the .next folder, sorry, inside our Docker. And then this is in node environment is production. We are exposing port 3000, and this is how we are running our application. Okay, so simple till here. Now what next you need to do is, first you need to push this image to Docker. Now some of you might be confused, like there is no the Docker file does not include code for MongoDB. We don't really need it, like we don't really require a Docker compose file, because in Kubernetes you will be pulling the MongoDB file as well. So no point in pulling the MongoDB image from Docker compose as well. So yeah, that's why I have not written any MongoDB code inside our Docker file. So first you can just build the image. So again you need to log in into a Docker Hub. I have already logged in, and this is my username. So you need to replace Brave Evidence with your own username, and this is your image name. It can be anything. So I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll just shut down our local server, and I'll paste it over here. Okay, now this will take a bit of time, and for Kubernetes I'm using Docker Desktop's Kubernetes instead. If you want to use Minikube, you can use that as well. Now coming to the creates folder, now this command will take a bit of time, so ignore it. So creates folder, so inside creates, first I have created deployment.yaml. so this is for our Next.js application. So here you can see I have given it some name. If you want to use different replicas as well, you can use it. And here you can see again this name is same, so same name will be used inside our service file as well. And here we are referencing same name, so this is should be the same image which you have used inside over here. Okay, next Mongo app, and same username as well. Okay, so whatever is your username you need to use, and container port is 3000, and we are getting some secrets from this secrets.yaml file as well. So the name is Next.js secret. So if you have named it differently, you'll have to change it over here. Now I'm not using a single container for like I'm using different containers. So one container for Next.js and one container for MongoDB. That's why I've commented this out. Do not use this method. This is a very bad method, so I'll just completely remove this, because the problem with this method is if you try to pull MongoDB inside this particular YAML file itself, and if you change the replica, things will go haywire. You will get wrong results when you create and when you read users, because there are two replicas of MongoDB as well. So don't do this. So if you want, now if you want to change the number of replicas for this, you can change it, because for MongoDB I have created a separate .yaml file. I'll come back to that later on. Then I have created this service.yaml for our Next.js as well. So this is the name. Like I said, the selector app should be Next.js, because that's the same name I'm using over here as well as over here. So make sure you use the same name over here as well. Okay, and the port is 80, target port is 3000, and protocol is TCP, type is node port as well. Then here I have created this secrets.yaml. so here you can see this is the API version, kind, metadata name, type opaque, string data, base URL. So because I'm using node port, I think this is the base URL which I have to use instead of localhost 3000, because Kubernetes will not know localhost 3000, and this is the MongoDB URI. So this can be anything, username, this password can be anything, and this name is very important because this is the name which I have written inside mongo-db.yaml. so make sure you need to use the same name over here as well. This is the port of MongoDB, and this is your database name. And I think this I have just copied it from the documentation. I'm not sure if this is required or not, but this is typically how a MongoDB URI looks like. Okay, now let's see if this command is done. So this command is done. So in the meantime, just to save time, I'll push the image to Docker Hub as well, because I don't want to waste your time as well. So I'll just push this image, so it will push it to Docker Hub. In the meantime, then you just need to create this mongodb.yaml. Now here we are fetching the image of MongoDB which is already present on Docker Hub. Okay, so here you can see again the same app API version, kind, deployment. Here I have given metadata name as MongoDB. This is the app name, this is label apps, then this is container name as well, and here you can see this is, here we are fetching the image name. Now I'm not using, like I said, persistent volume claim. So the disadvantage of not using persistent volume claim is, so here I'm using latest version of MongoDB. Suppose I want to downgrade it to some other version. So suppose if I written Mongo:6, then whatever data we had, it will disappear. So that's why we need to use persistent volume claim, but like I said, I'm not using in this. We'll have a look at it in the next part. Then here we are exposing port. I'm not really sure whether we require this, but I'm just like binding all IP addresses, and here we are getting the secrets from Next.js.secret. Now I have not created a separate service file for MongoDB. I have just written it inside this particular file. So if you want to do this, you have to write this 3- as well. Okay, then here is the API version, kind, metadata name. Now here you can see the same name whatever you have written is referenced inside the secret.yaml. So be very careful with this. So let's come back over here, and here selector app Mongo app, so because that's what I have written over here, and name is TCP, and here we are exposing the port and target port. Okay, so this is done. Now what you can do is you can just come over here and just apply this command kubectl apply -f. Okay, so my image has been pushed. I'll just run this. Okay, and then I just need to get the port on which Kubernetes is running locally. So that's why I'm running this command. So it is 30537. So it is same as this one. Okay, so this was so I have just refreshed. Okay, why I'm getting this? Application error. kubectl. Oh, weird error. Trying to refresh. Is there some mistake which I did? I don't think so, because this was working. Okay, let me quickly check what mistake did I did, then I'll come back and explain you the steps. Okay guys, so I have figured out the issue. So the issue was basically related to MongoDB not getting initialized properly. So what I need to do is I need to go to secrets.yaml and I added this MongoDB root username, password as well as database. Make sure you use the same value over here and don't try to concatenate the values like we do it in JavaScript. Otherwise you will have to write some extra bit of code inside your NextJS as well. So that's why I have tried to avoid that. Then inside deployment, sorry, MongoDB-YAML, I had to add this env name value from secret key, something like this, same for password and same for database as well. Okay, then all I did was I just ran kubectl apply-f creates. Again, make sure you wait for a minute at least and then refresh. Here you can see I see this. Now I will just do abc and abc@gmail.com and I'll just click on create user. Here you can see the user has been created. If I try to refresh, here you can see it has been it is still present. So here I will just do df@gmail.com and I'll just click on create user. Now up to this is fine. Now what I have read from Stack Overflow and some blog post is that a lot of people are like of the opinion that you should use MongoDB with Kubernetes as well, but typically an average or a below average developer like me who does not have a good infra team, like who does not have that great of a knowledge of Kubernetes, I would try to avoid this approach. Instead what I would do is I'll just completely remove this mongodb.yaml file. Okay, so and instead what I'll do is so I'll just tell you what I'll do. I'll just comment this entire thing out. Let's go to mongodb.yaml. I'm not sure whether this will work or not. I think it should work. What basically we will be doing is inside our secrets.yaml we will just pass the URI of our MongoDB Atlas instance, free instance which we had created. Now in your case it might be hosted on AWS or something like that. From what I feel is let the cloud provider handle the database side, because if the database goes down and if you had to restart and if the data get lost, I don't have to worry about all of those things. Even though I'm charged a little bit higher, that's fine with me. So I'm of that opinion. I don't want to keep the database on my side, but it's better to know of this approach as well, because in large organization they do something like this. Okay, so I'll just comment this out just to show it to you. Then I'll just go to secret.yaml. I'll just comment this one out as well. Now instead of this one I'll just add the particular URL from my .env file. Again, I'm not going to show it to you, so I'll quickly add that. And if you remember, I have, so this has went down, but if you remember we had added 3 users, right, on localhost colon 3000. Now same user should be visible over here and this 2 users should disappear. That's what I'm saying. So let me quickly add that URL. Okay, so I have updated the URL inside my secret.yaml file, which is the same. Okay, then I'll just run kubectl apply-f creates. So here you can see it has changed all this stuff. Then let's try to use kubectl get nextjs service. Let's copy this and here we'll just refresh. Let's see what we get. Okay, we are still getting this. I'm not sure if it has really refreshed it or not. Maybe I have to delete all the pods and try it again. It is still referencing this. Maybe I'll quickly check how to delete. Okay, so I got it running. So the answer was simple. All I need to do was just run this particular command, kubectl delete pods --all. Okay, and then again you need to apply kubectl apply-f creates. Okay, now if I just come over here you can see this user was present, right? Now suppose I just add something like this kuber, okay, and kuber@gmail.com. so it has added this user. I can refresh it as well. Okay, now what I'll do is, instead of this, I'll just run npm run dev as well, just to prove it to you. What the kuber user which I have added should be visible on localhost colon 3000, because both of them are referencing to the same database instance, right? So let's just wait. So here you can see kuber. Now if I add another user, like some pose like somebody, all right, I'll just copy this, somebody at gmail.com. I'll click on this create user. Now if I come back to over here, which is our Kubernetes, and I refresh this, here you can see somebody at gmail.com. So hopefully you got this point. Thank you for watching. Bye.